Hey, this is Terry with Total Life Pursuit. Welcome to pillar number 2, which is output. Output, that's my favorite pillar. You know why it's my favorite pillar? Because it's the easiest one for me. We all have things that we like to do that are easy. This one happens to be easy for me. So it's a little easy to teach, it's easy to do. I hope it's easy for you. I just rhymed. I should be a rap artist. All right, here we go. How you live today will determine how you live tomorrow. Because tomorrow isn't in a vacuum. Tomorrow is going to be the accumulation of today and the day before and the day before. And I don't know about you, but I want to live really well into my 80s and 90s. And if God, wants me to live past that, then praise the Lord. But, 80s and 90s, I'm living well. I want you to think about water again. Remember we started off pillar number 1 with water. I want you to think about water again. I want you to think about a pond. Okay, you got a vision of a pond? Now I want you to think about the pond in the summer. Super refreshing to jump into the pond, right? Have you ever jumped into a pond in the summer? Pond scum, does that ring a bell at all? Because the pond is just a pond. There's no water flowing in. There's no water flowing out. There's no movement of the water. You step into that pond, and at the bottom there's yuck. It's like algae, slimy something. It's weird, right? Your body is 2/3 water. If it just sits there, think about the pond. It's just kind of problematic with your body. Okay, so what are you going to do? You say, oh, come on, that's a really weird illustration. Is that true? It's not exactly true. It's just something to help you picture what happens to a body of water, which you're 2/3 of, that doesn't move a lot. When you sit, or when you sit all day, or you sit 6 hours a day, that's a problem. All kinds of bad things happen, including premature death, cardiovascular disease, and other deadly and chronic diseases. I don't know about you, but the quick premature death, I'm not looking forward to it. But that's not what concerns me. It's that slow death. I took care of my mother the last years of her life. I saw her degenerate over the last 20 plus years of her life. I've watched several people, my father-in-law included, to this guy who could do anything and fix everything, to a guy who couldn't. My mom's was inactivity, bad eating, and some certain other things. My father-in-law's was strokes. I don't want either. I want to maximize my possibility and probability to remain really not just ambulatory, but agile and strong, and with my proprioceptive abilities, meaning that I can lift my leg and I know I'm lifting it, and when I lift it, my other leg compensates because it feels the one leg lifting, and I can balance. I want to remain quick with my feet. I do want to remain very, very strong so I can go out and play with my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids. Yeah, I'm going to have great-grandkids. Shouldn't be that much longer, as a matter of fact. So, when you sit all day, your circulation, it slows down. You burn less fat. You immobilize major muscles. And there's a key gene in fighting cardiovascular disease, LPP1, that prevents blood clotting and inflammation. And that gene, by sitting down a lot, suppressed. That's right. The gene that God put in your body to fight the disease that nobody wants, cardiovascular disease, is suppressed when you don't move enough. As if that wasn't enough, depression, especially in women, increases as the reduced circulation causes fewer feel-good hormones to reach the brain. That's one of the reasons I love exercise, because I get that feel-good hormone, like, hey, it's all well, except when I run. I don't like running. I know some of you like running. Please, run. But if no one's chasing me, I'm not running. Are you with me here? I don't like running. There's no runner's high. It's like a runner's low. But I love lifting weights, and I love doing intense exercises and interval training and bicycling and surfing. I love gardening. I love to do outdoor physical activities. You got to find your activity that you really love, that you like, or that you will do. If you say, I don't like anything, I like sitting by a fire and just reading a book. Okay, we have a problem, because that is going to determine your tomorrow. I want my tomorrow to be great. How about you? Now, let's take Jesus as an example. He probably didn't go to the gym, although he was a carpenter, so he lifted things all the time. He used muscles. He was probably very, very strong and agile as a carpenter in that day. But he walked approximately 21,000 miles in his lifetime. That's a lot of miles. It's almost around the Earth's equator. So Jesus was a walker. He walked a lot. You know, from Galilee to Jerusalem, when it says, and he went up to Jerusalem, we read it in like 2 seconds. That's like a 2-hour bus ride. So it's something that Jesus did. It's something that God has engineered into us. So let's get into it just a little bit. The American Journal of Epidemiology, a study reported that a man who sits more than 6 hours a day has an 18% increased risk of dying from heart disease, 7.8% percent increase in dying from diabetes, as compared to a person who only sits 3 hours a day. Are you with me? If you sit 3 hours a day, your risk is basically a lot less than those who sit 6 hours a day. And I want you to just think about how much you sit. If you have an office job, you sit all the time. If you're a truck driver, you sit all the time. Well, how can you not sit as a truck driver? I get it. But you're going to have to change the lifestyle in order to maximize your movement. Okay? As much as we would like to think, 30 minutes or even an hour of exercise doesn't undo it. It doesn't undo all the sitting that happens. It doesn't eradicate the damage that happens. In a study, the researchers monitored over 84,000 nurses. And nurses, move. It's not like they sit down the whole time. They move. They watched them for over 8 years. The nurses who exercised regularly had 54% lower risk of both heart attack and stroke as compared to the sedentary women. So, what does exercise do for you? Well, it reduces type 2 diabetes progression by 58%. It immediately helps hypertension, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, and it greatly reduces your chance of suffering a heart attack or a stroke. We had a guy come to the gym. He was an older guy. He was in his 60s. His blood pressure was high, and so was his cholesterol. And within 6 months of him starting to work out, his cholesterol was normal, and so was his blood pressure, off medication. Exercise, he wasn't just doing exercise. This is one pillar. But I'm telling you, exercise is magic. It boosts your immune system against common maladies like the cold and the flu, reduces the intensity and duration or preventing them outright. How many people would like to skip flu season? Hello. In your brain, it can block the progression of dementia and Alzheimer's by up to 50%. The drug or exercise, if exercise was a drug, it has been shown to help keep your mental facilities or faculties longer in life. There's a guy by the name of John Medina who is a neuroscientist, and he wrote a book called Brain Rules. Chapter number 1, exercise is the magic bullet. If there's a magic bullet, he says in his book, it's exercise. Why? Blood flow. Oxygen goes with blood. So does toxicity goes out with the blood. So the more blood flow you have to your brain, the better it is. If we stay in your head, let's think about psychological factors. Exercise has been shown to reduce symptoms of depression by 30% and closer to 50% in higher doses. It can help you quit any addiction, especially affected with smoking and drinking. This drug, exercise, improves sleep quality and can cure sleep disorders like insomnia and apnea. A study in a medical journal showed that 2.5 hours of moderate exercise per week, that's a half hour of brisk walking a day for 5 days, increased life expectancy by 3.5 years. Those in the study who upped their exercise intensity increased life expectancy by 4.2 years. You know, most people die of diseases. So what does this do? It increases the likelihood that you won't get a disease earlier in your life. And I don't know about you, but I'm just not going to die of a disease. I've already got that mindset. That's in the thinking pillar, and you're going to hear that soon. But I'm not dying of disease. I'm just going to die of old age. My heart is just going to quit, and I'm going to go to sleep and wake up in heaven. You say, oh, you can't control that. No, I can't control that, but I tell you what I can do. I can be proactive in going towards that. This miracle drug, exercise, when used regularly, helps tame inflammation. And chronic low-level inflammation in the body plays a key role in the worst diseases of our time, which is heart disease, arthritis, cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson, irritable bowel syndrome, asthma, and more. So it really is a helpful thing. For the skeleton, what's it do? It makes the bones stronger. Your bones actually start growing more bone material when you do weight-bearing exercises. It's a wonderful thing. In fact, your body adapts to what you do. So your muscles are new, brand new on a cellular level every 3 to 4 months. That means that every 3 to 4 months, they can either be stronger or they can be weaker, just depending on what you do. You are the one in the captain's chair. How about that? Is that amazing? I love the way God made our body to give us the power to live well or not live well. I think he said something like that even when he talked to the Israelites in the Old Testament. He said, I'm giving you life or death today. I think he's giving us, do you want better life? Do you want remarkable life? Or do you just want average life, ordinary life? Good into your 50s, can't move well, hips start freezing up. Do you know that the average people, I just read this, for hip replacement, the average people are from the late 30s to the mid 50s. That's your average person getting a hip replacement. I'm telling you that exercise can help that, can help prevent that rather. Okay, so mobility and preventing falls. You know why older people fall more than younger people? Because they can't catch themselves, not because they trip more. They actually don't trip any more than younger people. But the younger people can catch themselves because they have fast twitch muscle fibers that are still operating because they still use them. When you're older, what do you do fast twitch? I mean, heck, you know, you play bridge and pinochle and poker and things like that. You don't even play speed anymore with your kids. So what I'm saying is that if you practice it, you'll keep it. If you leave it on the shelf, it's going to rot. The lymphatic system in your body, which is part of your immune system, only moves by muscle movement. Not a lot of muscle movement, not a lot of immune movement. It's plain and simple. Your movement, the movement of your muscles, the contracting of your muscles moves your lymphatic fluid around your lymphatic tissue. And that helps tame inflammation in the body, makes your bones stronger, muscles less likely to be injured, helps bowel regularity, improves sleep, reduces pain, increases lung capacity, increases memory, gives you more energy. More energy? Are you sure? I'm sure. When you work out, you actually get more energy at the end of the day. You think, no, I'm expending energy so I get less energy. It's not that way. You may have to go through a week or two, possibly 3, of painful energy loss, like, oh my gosh, I'm working out and it's killing me. But I'm telling you, at the end of 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to have more energy than you had previous to working out daily. Okay, one researcher, am I overloading you with research? I want you to get this, that it really is important. Conducted an experiment with laboratory rats. He took some rats, shocked them with electrodes, shone bright lights on them, played loud noises to them around the clock. At the end of the month, all the rats were dead. Depressing. Mean. But anyways, listen to this. He took another group of rats. He exercised them And then he did the same experiment for a month. Guess what? The rats exhibited normal behavior after the month. In other words, exercise can stave off stress disease. And if there's something we need help with, it's stress disease. You know that you lose 10 pounds of muscle mass every 7 pounds of muscle mass every 10 years. 7 pounds every 10 years. So from your 30th birthday to your 40th birthday, you lose 7 pounds of muscle mass. And it's usually replaced with fat. That's right. Can exercise reverse that? Of course. Because you're exercising your muscle mass doesn't deplete, it actually can grow, and you have more muscles at the end of your 40th years. This is why I like doing it, because I am like poster child for this. I have a better physique now than I had in my 20s and 30s. I have as much or more muscle mass than I had. Why is that? Because I exercise. Well, you probably exercise like 3 hours a day. Who's got time for 3 hours a day? Like bodybuilders and, physique models and people like that. I don't have time for that. I do our class at the gym. 80% of the time, that's all I'm doing is our class at the gym, which is an hour when you talk about yip yap time, foam roll time, get everything out, put everything back, stretch it out, cool it down, exercise in the middle of that. Yeah, it's about an hour, maybe 50 minutes to 60 minutes. And in that time, yeah, I'm as muscular as I've ever been, and I'm 58 years old. What does that mean? You can too. In fact, I watched this YouTube video about this woman who started working out when she was 56, and she became a power lifter. And there's this other woman, she started working out in her mid-50s, can't remember the exact date, but in her mid-50s, she became a bodybuilder. She was like the oldest, she was 80 years old. She was striking a double bicep pose in a bikini. Amazing looking woman. I mean, you could see all her abs, you could see her bicep. I mean, it was amazing. Is she genetically predisposed to that? Maybe. The point is that she started late and she was still able to do it. It's not too late. It's not too late at all. Your BMR, basal metabolic rate, decreases 5% every 10 years after you turn 20 years old. You know what that means? If you keep eating the same amount of stuff, you gain weight. So you see the muscle loss replaced with fat, basal metabolic rate, you're going to eat the same. You're going to eat the same. You don't like, oh, I'm 30 now, I'm not going to eat as much as when I was 20. No, you're going to eat about the same. When you're 50, maybe you slow down a little bit. Maybe you don't. I've watched plenty of people who need to slow down. You know what I'm saying? You have too. And sometimes, if I'm honest, I need to slow down. Because you can't just exercise off cake and ice cream. You can. It'll take a week of intense exercise. Probably, off the top of my head, I would guess about 3 hours. Cake and ice cream, 3 hours. Extra, not just your normal thing, extra hours. Okay, so do I have you convinced? Are you there yet? I hope I have you convinced. There's so much fantastic benefit from this. And notice I didn't say how good you look, but you look better. There's no doubt about it. When you exercise, everything tones up. There's less flab, and you look better. So different types of exercises and their benefits. High-intensity interval training. Listen, this is my favorite. Why? Because it's fast. You can do this in 18 minutes in a day. Not counting the stretching, but you can do it in 18 minutes and be done and get a fantastic workout. High-intense interval training. It's a quick workout, lots of calories in a short amount of time. It raises your metabolic rate for hours afterwards. You lose fat, you raise your HGH, human growth hormone, that decreases as you age, but you do high-intensity interval training, HIIT for short, okay? And you do that, and wow, your HGH production goes up. Guys, your testosterone production goes up, increases muscle mass, and it stabilizes blood sugar. That's good. And you're done quickly. So how do you do it? Well, I want you to go to my website for that. I'll teach you. Cardio, that's rhythmic activity for 10 minutes or more that raises your heart rate into your target zone, which is 70 to 80%. 70 to 80%. Somewhere in there is where you want to be. So what does that do? Well, it builds mitochondria. Mitochondria, those are your friends. Don't have time to go deep into detail, but mitochondria are your feeders. They store energy. They are your life in your body. Okay, so mitochondria, it builds it. Cardio builds mitochondria. It increases endurance, not just in exercise, but in all of life. It reduces your LDL cholesterol. That's the bad cholesterol. So it reduces that. It gets rid of waste products in your system. That's a good deal. And it has all the other benefits of the HIIT exercises. Strength training. Oh, love strength training. Love strength training. Weight-bearing exercises. Sometimes your body weight's fine, but I would suggest that you need some sort of resistance, whether it's weights or bands, some sort of resistance. Increases muscle mass, elevates your metabolism, which helps you burn more fat, improves your posture, provides better support for joints, reduces risk of injuries from every activity. Every activity. Anyone like being injured? I don't. Every activity reduces that, reverses the loss of muscle tissue. Yes. That normally accompanies aging, but not with you. Helps to prevent osteoporosis, increases level of dopamine, serotonin, you ever heard of those? Norepinephrine, which can improve mood and counter feelings of depression. Intense exercise. I love doing these things. It's getting your body moving for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 25 minutes and just going all out, okay? Perceived exertion rate of 8 or 9 on a 1 to 10 scale. You're like, you're really, yeah, it has all the benefits of what I just said, and you're done quickly. But those exercises as HIIT training should not be done every day because you got to let your body recover. You have to have recovery time. Your body takes about 40 hours or so, studies say, to recover completely from intense exercise. So if I'm doing intense like pull-ups, right? I shouldn't do pull-ups 2 days in a row. Why? Because my muscles need to recover. They need to repair. They're going to repair and come back bigger and come back stronger. How bigger? That's my genetics. But they're going to come back stronger, and that's going to be great. There are other things that are very, very important that getting your body moving helps you with. Mobility. I've seen people my age that cannot raise their arms over their head straight. They can't do it. There's things that I can't do that I need to work on, and I'm not saying I'm the most mobile or flexible person, but if you don't work it, it's not going to be there for you. So you've got to work your mobility and you've got to work your flexibility, and they are two different things. You've got to work your balance. I said that starting off. You got to use your balance. So stand on one foot, watch TV on one foot. You think, what? Are you kidding? No, I'm not. In fact, they have these TV workouts. It's like, you know, they have a Grey's Anatomy workout. I've never seen Grey's Anatomy. But with like so-and-so kisses so-and-so, you have to do, I don't know, a burpee or I don't know what it is. But I just think, well, if you're going to watch TV, that's a fun way to do it. That's a fun way to do it. I don't know about Grey's Anatomy, but I don't know. Okay, so it's important to maintain your full range of motion, your muscle elasticity, your balancing ability. Why? Well, who wants to degrade? We too often call decaying aging. And I'm here to tell you that aging is not optional, but decaying, 80% of it is. In fact, there are certain exercises like HIIT training that you do that actually can reverse the aging process in your DNA. I'm not saying you're Ponce de Leon, you found the fountain of youth. I just am saying that it gives you a shot at getting older in age without getting older in body like the people around you. I hope you can take this to heart. I hope it's been encouraging. I hope you've been convinced. And this has been pillar number 2, Total Life Pursuit, Physical Health Training. This is Terry. Thanks for watching.